So this morning another Foundry and Car. Today we'll discuss a very important specific of cars, which is power to weight. And why is it important? If you look at acceleration and you have a car A and car B accelerate at a quarter mile at the same time, so they have the same quarter time slips, how can this be? One has so much more horsepower than the other. This is due to the fact that the power to weight of both cars are similar. And how can this be? If the power outputs are so dissimilar. The reason is the weight. So for example, if car A has double the horsepower as compared to car B, but also weighs double the amount, the power to weight is the same. And that results in similar accelerative characteristics. So if you want a certain type of performance, especially when you're a youngster and you know that your friend has car A, and you want to see if your car B is at least as fast or will not be completely humiliated on the straight line, oftentimes if you look at the power to weight, calculate that, you get a feeling. You can also look to similar cars. You have a feeling how they will do in an accelerative match-off. But if you get a lighter car with a similar power to weight, you will have a hoot to drive. And why is that? Because in the straight line you have comparable speeds. If you have to brake, you're probably faster because you have less weight to stop. And also in the corners you will have a big chance that you can carve those corners a lot better, because in the corners there's not so much need for power. It's just need that you can go through the corner fast. And then if your car is lighter, this will help tremendously. So the one with the same power to weight, but a lighter body, is more fun to drive. More agile and also often better braking. And if you would do a track day, this will become true even more. And why is that? Because to propel all that mass, the engine will heat up, so you get heat soak. And this is a phenomenon that the engine will heat up and therefore is less capable of producing horsepower, because it is tuning down, because the engine is too hot. Also the air will become hotter, which is less dense, and then the fuel mixture will be adjusted as well to protect the engine. And with the cars, as I mentioned, with a similar power to weight, but the heavier car will get a lot more strain and heat development normally. And also that heat development needs to heat soak, so he will perform a lot worse than the lighter car normally. The other thing also with the brakes have to stop so much more mass, so they will get overheated, they will fade. With the lighter car you will not find this phenomenon that intensely. I'm not saying that the brakes will not heat up, because they will, but they will suffer less and also heat up less. And the cornering ability was already the forte of the lighter car. Oftentimes the braking also, as I mentioned, but it depends a little bit. Some heavier cars have very good brakes, but brakes, tires and engine will suffer normally more in the heavier car. So it gives you a great indication. Also a heavier car could have a very good intercooler setup, whereas the lighter car has a very meager or no intercooler. Of course these are factors to consider if both are turbo engines. But in general my statement holds true. So if you have the car B that's half the weight but also half the horsepower, and you would do a track day with your friends, you will have a big chance of having even more space between you and that friend. The one thing to consider though is that if the car is double the weight, the other car, he might also be a lot safer if you get into a crash. And it could be that you are failing, and therefore the crash occurs, but also some of those around you on the track can fail, or there can be some conditions that are failing, for example leaked oil. So a light car is very nice, but very often they also have a lot less protection. And even if they fare quite well against objects that are not moving, even if the lighter car would fare as good as a heavier car, if it gets into contact with a heavy object that's moving towards it, then the transfer of energy will be so much for the heavier object to the lighter object in relative sense, so much more than with the heavier car. So please keep this in consideration. Of course, it's not only on the track but also in regular life. Weight is the enemy of performance, that's true, but what good is performance if you do not live to tell the tale? It's good that you also have sufficient protection. And with new technologies they can use stiff and stronger material that is still very light. So even that can be solved. Hope you liked this short video. Have a great day. Found Knowing Car out. Ciao.